Hey, Don here, back with another live stream. Gonna do some unboxing, and actually, I think they're from a couple of different places. So anyway, I'll probably just do them. I guess I'll do them all. I have kept going back and forth on that. Let me check my stream. I actually forgot. I was really just gonna record it, and I thought, oh, let's go ahead and stream it, and that way I can make sure my stream is working. I don't know if I've even done a live stream off my HP DL380 G7 server yet. So I've got everything, all my cameras and everything set up today, and the audio set up the way I wanted it. Okay, how do I get to my stream page? I've got my shortcuts up there. There it is. It shows in OBS that it's streaming, but if YouTube ever so often changes your stream key, and if I remember right, there's certain conditions where it will. Looks like it is working. Conditions where it will. Yeah, it's showing this page. That's why it's so dark. I want to make sure my sound works. Sound works and everything. Conditions where it. On this page, that's why it's so dark. Okay, good, cool. Certain conditions where it will go ahead and go to Amazon, because that's the first one I'm going to do. I know that's where it's going to be. I keep starting a sentence and not finishing it. Okay, this right here is what I think I'm fixing to open. Pretty sure. Okay, so let's get over here on the camera and just do that. Yeah, we'll get over here on camera 4. I checked on, on the Amazon before when I got this stuff. I've actually been kind of putting it off a couple of days now. I've got I already opened one from another outfit in another video, and I've got 2 boxes and 2 envelopes here. I know one's from Wally World, but yeah, it doesn't say on like this one. It doesn't say who it's from. Other than, does this one have? Yeah, it's got the Amazon arrow on the side of it. So, and I got me a new blade in this thing. It was dull on the last one. I got to be careful too. Because it's so sharp. It's brand new. Oh yeah, that's the way you're supposed to do it. I'm having trouble opening just a regular tape, Oh, okay. Well, that sure. I expected this thing. I don't know why I didn't expect it to be in its own box. It's yeah. It's and there's something else in there, but, well, I don't think they had a good deal on my toothpaste they use. 4 of them for something. I don't remember now. But there wasn't no packing, no bubble stuff or nothing in there. I knew it was kind of thrown around. I guess that's why I thought that the item was, just kind of in a big box. But it's a vent cleaning kit. I have an endoscope camera. I've got it hooked up over there. I tried to stick it in there to check it out. See how, make sure. Hopefully it wasn't stopped up. The heating element went out, and I put a new heating element in it, and I couldn't get about 4 or 5 feet up in there, and it wouldn't go no further, and I couldn't see as good as I'd hoped. And so I finally broke down. I've been thinking about it for a couple of years, actually, getting one of these. This is, let's see, they're flexible. You can, I don't think you can make a 90 with that. Maybe. I think they showed it going through a 90, but it's supposed to have 30 feet of rods. I thought they were going to be like 2 feet, maybe even 3 feet long, but they're all about, let's see how long they are. No, tape. My good tape's over there. Well, I got this little one here, I guess. Use it. So, not counting the threads, of course. Oh, okay, they're like 15.5 is what you're actually going to get out of each rod. Inches. Let's see what that brush looks like. There's some styrofoam in the top there. Yeah, you're going to have to kind of work. Oh, I see. I don't want all these things to come out of it. Oh, there's another. Oh, that's the one you stick in your drill. Yeah, let's don't lose that. It was just loose in there. The styrofoam, it came back to where I can get it. Let me this time I'll try not to let it go back down in the box. That's the soft kind. Okay, I don't know which one I want to put that on. I just put that. But so yeah, from what it looked like, you know, the lint's so white, it was making a lot. Everything looked white once you got past. I finally figured out that only the bottom 90-degree elbow and probably 4 inches up, you can see the pipe, and then you see some white spots, and then it's just all white from there. And looking on the endoscope, so. And it's not a high-resolution camera or anything, so I finally decided that that thing really stopped up. Some black tape, looks like electrical tape. Oh, maybe they want you to put that on the joints or something. I might actually have to read the instructions. I've watched several videos on doing this. I did learn. Yeah, okay. Supposed to be a 4-inch brush, but it's looking 3-inch all day to me. No, it's 4-inch. Good, because we got a 4-inch duct pipe. I made sure and measured it and made sure I got one, because some of them are 3-inch that I saw. Made sure I got one that would. But you screwed on there, and I know one mistake people I've seen it in some videos and screenshots while I was shopping, but not screenshots, pictures. And they're, putting them together, making them 10 feet long. Well, if you've ever spun anything on a drill, like if you're, when I was a kid, I learned that. You put something long on the drill and you spin it too fast, well, it winds up and slaps you in the face. And I don't remember what I did that. Well, I don't think I've ever. Well, I might have used something like this way back in the 70s when I had a job doing maintenance on. Not just like this with this nice flexible rod and everything, but I mean, you can just get some kind of rod, put some kind of brush on it, or whatever. Anyway, I don't remember well enough that far back. Yes, I'm ancient. I grew up in the 60s and I graduated high school in 1975, so. Oh, okay. That one didn't go all the way in for some reason. So that's the plan. But anyway, the short as these are, I'd probably put 2 together, round that up, and then put another one in, like that. And you don't want to spin it too fast. Like I'll plan on probably using I got a DeWalt 18-volt drill, which I've got 20-volt batteries for it though, because those batteries, died after quite a few years. And so I got the 20-volt batteries in the adapter, and I got me a 20-volt 1/4-inch impact. I'm gonna put this in the bottom this time, and the brush above it, so that I can get the brush out. Kind of help keep those things lined up in there. Let's see. I hope. Let's see. I guess that's why that was off of there, because you can't shut the lid. Yeah, I'm hitting the bottom. Can't shut the lid. I don't want it to be just flying around in there, though. Is the thing. But I imagine the black tape, well, first thing I would think of is they probably say tape up the joint. That's a good idea. Tape up the joints so that if you get anything whipping, don't run the drill in reverse, it will unscrew them. That's the other thing. And I thought, oh, I should have already thought of that, you know. And peppers. But yeah, it's going to be a dirty job though. That's the thing. Unless, well, if you get on the roof, if the thing is, it might be so much trouble to get the cap off here. We have one going straight through the roof, which is why it's clogged up. I never wanted it. Never wanted the thing, period. But it got overruled. So because we didn't have one at all, and it is, and I didn't forgotten how loud that thing is with it off. It's off right now. You know, I got it going again. Oh, you can't put it in there either because it won't fit in unless you want to mess up the brushes. I see. So that's why it was laying in there like that. I can yank my cords on. There we go. This reminds me of us putting a tent together or something. Makes me think of camping. Well, I'm going to peel this back just a little. I'll look at the box just a little bit. But as I'm fiddling around here, I'm going to peel this tape back just a little. Tape that in there to that. Maybe it won't try to help keep you from getting lost. Last thing we want to do is lose that. Well, I guess I could look at this. This has probably got a quick start guide on it or something. No, it's a review thing. Want you to review it. Hopefully, this is the only one. It was the one with the best reviews. And I thought, well, you know, after a while, the one problem people have with them is they twist the metal, the ends. They heat up and they break. They heat up and they kind of melt. Come out of these metal ends, and like I said, I saw pictures of people turning them into pretzels, and I mean, that could happen. They could even turn into pretzels inside the 4-inch pipe. There's enough room, so don't spin it too fast. And that 18-volt drill with a 20, I was thinking, well, make sure I don't run it too fast. I thought he might even actually. I don't like using the clutch on those things. I hate it when driving screws and stuff. On the drills, they have a clutch, you know. Now that one does. Those do. And but I thought, I guess you could kind of like stick one on there and see how fast it, you know, how much it's wanting to wobble, and then set that clutch so it won't get no more. The thing is, when you get in there, you don't get hung up either and have a hard time getting it back out. So if you just use your drill like you know what you're doing, and don't forget to do something dumb, then you really might end up needing all the torque it has. But it's got way more torque than it used to even, and it was pretty torquey already. It drove 3.5-inch screws just fine through, you know, 2x4s and stuff like that. And I have the impact now, and it's even better. I wouldn't put the impact on it. I'm pretty sure you would tear it up. Thought maybe there might be some quick start instructions. It shows the direction of attaching them. I guess they just figure everybody watches videos all the time, so they don't got to give you no instructions. There might have been some on that paper. I didn't really read it once I saw it. It said something about a review. But there we go. Well, hopefully that's going to be good. And we can get that pipe. But if you go from the top down, usually, I help put the vent in. My neighbor's an air conditioning guy. Him and his stepson, which I guess you'd call him a stepson. My neighbor. He's like 75 or something, more than that now, I think. He's not even work. He doesn't really work anymore. But the son, he's about 10 years younger than me. When I moved here, he was like 3 years old. You know, so I've known him ever since he was a little kid. But Anyway, my neighbor, this well, and they all got ended up. It's kind of odd because that guy, the youngest of the boys, all the boys. Well, let's see, not all of them. Two of them. The two younger ones end up being air conditioning guys because their dad was air conditioning guy. But this is a different air conditioning guy. Their dad died. Matter of fact, there's only two of those boys left. There were three of them died. There was 5 boys. 3 of them died, and there's only 2 left, 2 youngest. You never know how things are going to turn out. But okay, so yeah, I'm just going to go to this envelope now, and seems about half open. I got a split here and a split there, so I can't do any pulling hardly with my right fingers. Let's see. I think I'll get the long scissors out of here and just try cutting it open. Yeah, that'll do. We get so much of, packing stuff now. I used to always save most of it in case I wanted to. Well, I used to ship stuff. And so I was always saving stuff for, not having to pay for more shipping materials, But, it's like, what am I on? Am I on the camera, the desktop, what? On the camera. I thought it would be less trouble to use the scissors than the knife, but it's not coming out that way. I don't really want to goo up this new blade with a bunch of that tape, that stuff there either. I keep thinking about these. I got my toolbox open down here. I've got this in my little workbench. See, I have my little in-the-house tools in there. I wonder if this would get in there better. I always get a little leery, and you can so easily whatever it is you bought might be sticking right up in that area. Sometimes they get it in the tape, and they stick them, and you're sitting there cutting away with your scissors, and you're cutting your product. I don't even remember what this is supposed to be. Oh, I see it, I think. That did work better. It's kind of odd. You wouldn't think that shorter. I guess they're kind of more pointy in a way, but they're good scissors. They're for running wiring with. They're not for paper cutting and stuff like that. That's what that is. Yeah, that came from Amazon. Well, so did that. But this was a previous order. This is an insert cable, 1/4-inch insert cable. Is what it's called, audio cable. I used to sell this stuff online back before Musician's Friend was ever a thing. Musician's Friend is owned by Guitar Center. For several years, I was selling pro audio gear online, trying to make a living, trying to make some money at it. And when they came on, they were selling stuff cheaper than I was paying with my wholesalers. So that's when I decided, well, I'm not making but hardly any sales, and I ain't gonna be able to compete now, so I had to quit doing it. Trying to cut away from myself, but those blades, they're a magnet for you. And that's a brand new blade. I thought this would cut this nice and smooth, straight, but it ain't doing it. Usually I get it open and you do like scissors or something. Should have. Now it's a mess. I like to not tear these up so that if I want to put them back in there to keep them, can. But these are so jagged it'll cut me up every time I get near it. But so this, I bought, what did I buy? Oh, it was a 3.5 millimeter to double RCA. No, that wasn't what it was. It was, it's sitting right over there. anyway, it came with the dead channel. It wasn't just like this one. It was similar. It was a different brand. Anyway, let's. I don't remember. I think it was 2/4 inches to 2 RCAs. No, I think it was 1/4 inch TRS to 2 RCAs or something like that. Yeah, like these scissors right here, they're tough enough to cut wire. No problem. Without tearing them up. Yeah, you can do that with those house scissors too, but you'll end up being sorry. These even have a, this is for running, well, it's for small gauge wire, but there's 2 places in there where you can actually strip 2 different gauges of wire. 24, I think it is. 24 and 20 or something like that. Quick doing it. It's kind of a quick and dirty job that it does, but it will do it. That's the worst. I like to keep my twist. Oh, that's really flexible. Feels nice. This is Hosa, which is a brand that I remember. I thought that this was the brand that came out. I was selling Horizon cables. They were made in America. As I sold speakers, I sold the snakes, Horizon snakes, whatever. I had suppliers to get. Like I did sell some Eminence drivers. People usually just call them speakers, but they're drivers. Speaker is the box and everything. But anyway, what you consider to be the actual speaker, I sold several of those. But anyway, forgot what I was trying to say. I remember Hosa. I don't know if, but I saw some of my original cables that were the bargain brand that Horizon started selling. It wasn't Hosa. I was thinking that's what it was. I had said that in a video, I guess whenever. Oh, I think it was whenever I did a little video on that one that went bad, that came bad. One thing though, I don't know how often they do it, but Amazon, they were the ones that sold it and shipped it, and I got on there to send it. I thought, well, I'm going to send this back because it was free, so I didn't really want to go through the trouble. The last time I'd sent anything back several years ago, they have someone come and pick it up from UPS usually, and they have a pre-printed sticker, label, and they put it on there. And you give it to them in a box, and they put it on there. So it's not hard, but you do have to be available, when they come and all that stuff. You got waiting around for them and all that. But the cable, it was only like a $4, $5 cable. They just said, well, you don't have to send it back, and they gave me the money back. So I don't know how often they do that, but that was pretty cool. Especially seeing how, I was still aggravated. You waste your time and your money shopping for something forever, trying to find the right one that you want, and best reviews, best price, all that, and then when you get it, it don't work. Whatever it is, it's a pain in the butt. This is TRS 1/4 inch. TRS is not the same exact dimensions as a stereo cable. Or they didn't used to be back when everything was measured in American. Now things are metric. I think they may be a little closer. Usually they would work anyway, but like in a pinch, I would always carry. I remember one time we needed I think that's what we needed, was an insert cable, basically. You can use it for other things. Insert cable is what you do. Here's my mixer over here, and it's for effect send and return. Let's see. That's what they're made for. So yeah, okay. So on the back of this little board, it actually does have that. So you plug the TRS 1/4 inch into the send. I'm not going to do that now. I'm not be making noise in my audio. I may have just send. And then you stick. It's for a mono signal actually. So one of these will be I think it's actually labeled here. always says ring and sleeve. So they're like tip, that says tip and ring. So which, that would be tip, ring, sleeve. Tip, ring, sleeve. So anyway, some of them used to be labeled with send and return, I think, or maybe we just did that. But anyway, you'll figure it out. So this is so the effects send. Let me see. What do we got here? Trying to see that. Oh, that's stereo aux return. Well, what you normally do, this is what you normally do. You don't normally mix when you're mixing for. I mix for live sound for bands throughout the whole, almost most weekends all through the 90s. But anyway, so you use the send. You put this one in the send, and then you return. Okay. Gosh, it's been so many long years since I've done it. So you have, this is my effects unit over here. So if I were going to hook it up that way, why am I going into this? I don't know. Line out. Input. This is completely different than a normal effects unit. This is a guitar effects. And as you can see, it's kind of shaped like a little guitar. Anyway, that's what I'm using for my, it also has one little set of vocal effects, and it has, so I'm using the noise gate, compressor, and a little reverb to actually, anti-reverb to make talking vocals sound better. So I can't use this as an example, but if we were going to a regular rack mount effects unit, you could plug this in at almost every channel on a bigger board, you know, with sliders like a Mackie, or so I usually always use Mackies. This is a Behringer, and the bigger Behringers have it too, but you put this in the okay, this is different. You would put this into a channel insert or the main insert, and so it's a send and return back to the board. So one of these would be the input to send the signal through, and then the other one would bring the process signal with the effects on it back into this same TRS connector. This is different. You've got a, I think what it is, you can either be balanced or unbalanced, but it's a mono send, and this is just a main output. It'd be a main output send on this 802 Xenix 802 mixer, and then you've got a left and a right return, and then you have the red knobs on here. I don't doubt you can see them, but they're the effect. Then you could add whatever effects you want to each channel. So that's not on the mains. I guess it's just like every channel. It's just, there's only one send for the whole board. And a regular mixer, a bigger mixer, has one on every channel. It'll have one for every, like if you have a 4-bus mixer, you got 4 sub-mixes, then you would have one for each one of those, and then you'd still have one for your output. And you do have stereo capabilities on most mixers, but you usually just use the mono output because there's just no sense in trying to mix stereo in a live environment, and I won't go on and on about that, but I remember some people couldn't believe when some of my friends, they would come and they were just learning, and they would say, "You don't mix in stereo?" And it was one of the first things I thought too, because stereo was the best thing ever, you know, and it is when you're listening to music in your house. But I mean, think about how the people are standing on the stage and where the instruments are. There's no way that you can turn that into. It's got its own. It's you got a 5-piece band, then you've got 5 channels right there. You got way more than stereo already. Anyway, I'm getting all kind of off the story, or on the story instead of off topic. That's it. I'm getting off topic. That's too short. I'm just going to grab what I got here to hold this together. That one there's not. I had to cut some off of it because it was broken twice, and I just don't want it unraveling. Now, what did I buy this for? That's what I was going to say. And I'm trying to remember, what did I buy this for? Okay, I did buy it for input. Yeah, I've been trying to figure out if I'm having bad cable troubles or if this connector, the input is a TRS on this, and it actually is stereo. And so here's the two separate mono outputs on the mixer. Now I'm using an RCA with an RCA to 1/4 inch adapter, mono, or actually you would actually on a mixer in pro audio you would call that unbalanced. That's an unbalanced signal when you're just using a regular 1/4 inch output like that. So it goes. This is just stereo, 1/4 inch on this end, and this is just two RCAs stereo. That's just what fit, what I had that would fit and work. But I did want two inputs. Like my mic here, my SM58. That's a mono. You don't have stereo, even though you have balance right and left and everything. It's not stereo. And even though you have two outputs, it's still not actual stereo when you've got a mono source. Now this one here, this is the mic I'm talking on, and you could call that they're dual lapels, but they said in the when I bought it that they actually weren't stereo, they were mono. But what they mean for you to do with these is like put one on one person and one on another. But I haven't had a reason to do that, but they actually do sound pretty. I think that's one reason they sound pretty good being really cheap mics, is because of that. It's because of the two mics together. Even if they are mono, they kind of give a well, I don't know how to explain what I think it does. It sounds better. And of course the other one, I have another one that's a single lapel, and but it depends on where you're using it, though, what you're using it on, like how you're hooking it up. But it didn't sound near as good as these when I was going through the phone over the Wi-Fi straight to the computer. But when I started using the Bluetooth adapter recently, so I'm going through a phone but over Bluetooth instead of Wi-Fi, from these through a phone to this Bluetooth adapter into the mixer. Now that's the best I've ever heard any of these lapels sound. Well, they're going through the noise gate, compressor, and effects. You see, and that's cool, and I'm wireless. So and your phone, well, let's see. I think it ran about 8 hours, probably more than that. Wait a minute. I worked 13 hours on that washer one day, and the phone battery, I think it was down to about 50 or 60%. It's not using, and that's about how actually that might be. I was thinking the Bluetooth was used more battery on the phone than using the Wi-Fi as a mic over the Wi-Fi. But you know what? I think the Wi-Fi they'll go about 5 to 6 hours, and they'll start getting pretty low. Not real low, like 40% or 35% or something like that. But anyway, you can't buy, I don't care how much money you spend, you can't buy a wireless mic. Now, you'll have better audio quality, and you won't have the delay problems. I really have bad delay doing this, really bad. But it's the best thing I got right now. But, you usually used to, like the Audio-Technica mics we used to use back in the early 90s, that's the last time I really used a lot of wireless mics. They had Shure SM58 heads on them. They were really good mics, but they would last about an hour, and then you'd have to put another they used 9-volt batteries. You'd have to put another 9-volt battery in them. And I'm sure there's plenty of them that'll last 2 hours nowadays because electronics are lower, use less power these days most of the time. But I keep wanting to touch this stuff, and I need to leave it alone because I might mess it up. I'm using it, especially this one. It's kind of loose and it wiggles around in there. I'm afraid that maybe the connector, I looked up in there and I couldn't see anything loose and dangling in there, but I couldn't see that good. I used my endoscope camera over there. It's a close-up camera. But I'm going to try this. And see, but I want to, that's right. I've learned from that other one I got that was bad. We already learned the hard way. You know, you can't expect you can't just assume anything is going to be good just because it's brand new. I mean, why would something brand new be good, you know? I'll tell you what, I grew up in a world where that was unacceptable. And now it's just the norm. It's just ridiculous. Oops. Somehow that got loose. Okay, so I'm just going to do I'm just going to ring it out, do a continuity test on each section of it. And I'm not going to be trying to read the ohms or anything. I just want to hear it beep. Okay, so the tip will be, oh, well, these are labeled. Let's see. I guess I'm going to have to get them loose again. Let's get these two loose, then I can. Okay, the black one's tip, and the red one's ring, and the sleeve should be sleeve on all of them. It's all going to be the same. So tip. There we go. Ring. Oh, we better make sure it doesn't ring somewhere on both places. Yeah, okay, so it doesn't ring on both places. Make sure it's not shorted out. So basically you want to test every spot. But it's good to have it labeled so you know where it's supposed to go. Okay, now this is the ground. You know, the sleeve is the ground. They should all be connected. There we go. Should be a good cable, and unless you know there's some bad wiring inside of there or something. But I had the other one I bought. The right channel was dead, and so I just hooked it up. You know, gonna use my new cable, and I got a horrible buzzing sound instead of the joyful noise of me talking. I guess is what it would have been. Yeah, I was putting it on there. I think I was using it on there. I don't even remember. I've got one for my I got 2 or 3 cables lately because I got this big new 49-inch 4K TV as my computer monitor, and I needed I had been using one. I think I finally decided I was having a little trouble with a little noise and a little low buzz, and I thought, well, maybe my cable, you know, maybe my old TRS to RCA 3.5 millimeter cable is, you know, bad, worn out and going bad. But I think oh yeah, I did decide one of them was bad. I haven't ever. It's over there in my box, waiting for me to test it like that. But see, when you gotta, now if that wasn't brand new, the thing you need to do, it's really easier to just put some sound through it and wiggle the cable in if you have noise or anything. You know that it's going, that the conductors are breaking up inside of the insulation. But you can do that. You can well, I'd have to put. I don't have any clips. I don't have a bunch of fancy connectors for my multimeter, but what I've been doing is I take these off and just hook a jumper wire on here and then one on to the whatever cable I'm testing, or whatever it is I'm testing. I was testing on the dryer most recently, but anyway, you can with audio cables, you know, you want to make sure and wiggle near all the connections and everything and see if it gets an open and close if the beeping stops. But that beeping is so annoying to listen to. And I've done it all my life with just the whatever stereo I had, I just use the music on it, or you can talk over it, but you'll forget and stop talking, Yes, I do stop talking. Matter of fact, when I'm not making videos, I don't talk very much at all. Believe it or not. But trying to figure out where to put this now that I've got the wires all out. I think I might need it again in a minute. So. All right, this is another Amazon, so let's, yeah, audio cable. Glad to get that. That's actually, that was pretty slow at getting here, unusually slow. That's unusually dirty, or usually dirty. And I guess the other stuff wasn't dirty enough that I noticed it. You know, it's no telling what this stuff goes through coming to you. Just wipe that box down. There's another box down here. You know, I think I wiped this stuff down when I first brought it in here. I think. Okay, now. Yeah, this is Unboxing Tuesday. Okay, so, yeah, like I said, make sure you don't got any of your stuff you bought up in that end where you're going to cut if you're going to do what I'm getting ready to do. Use the scissors, I think. That's a different kind of a bag. I don't have Prime, but I guess they got lots of those envelopes. I did for a couple of years, and I finally decided it wasn't. Well, they went up. I was already thinking about canceling. Little did they know that I think a lot of people were, because you know, I probably had a couple of hundred TV shows and movies. None of them were all that big of a deal, and I put in my watch later list, and I just never felt like watching them because they weren't really all that interesting. There was only one series that I watched almost all of, and that I liked, and couple of movies, 2 or 3 movies over 2 years, and I didn't order stuff, all that often. I didn't really order anything any more often than I already did. So even though it's a pain to try to make sure you get the right amount of stuff to get the free shipping. Of course, some things, more and more things, are just free shipping anyway from certain sellers. But anyway, canceled it. Couple 3 years ago now, and haven't missed it one little bit. One thing I do, and I wouldn't do it out of spite, because every time you check out, they dare their darndest to trick you into clicking on that and getting it, signing up again for another trial of that. And actually, within a month of me canceling it, they did trick my mom, and I didn't know it, and she had signed back up for it, and they let you share it with the family, so we were already shared in the system. And so I kept seeing in there, do you want to get the Prime free shipping, And I was like, well, I don't have Prime, I can't do that. And it's a couple of months, and finally I figured it out, and so so I canceled it, and she'd been getting charged by the month for, well, I guess maybe since I canceled it, she got charged by the month instead of by the year or whatever. But anyway, I'm still mad about it. That was 2-3 years ago. But every time I check out, I get just a little bit pissed off. I almost quit shopping there, but there's Walmart and Amazon kind of got the monopoly on the best deals. I never did get into too many, like I remember Overstock.com and some of those other places. I didn't really like them too much. A few of the others that I saw them during Christmas shopping, I was like, oh, I didn't know those places were still around. I'd forgotten about them. Amazon is convenient. Oh, okay. This is Hydrocortisone Cream. I've gotten this before. Pretty good price on it. 3 of them for pretty good. About the price of one. Walmart, sometimes they'll have, they go up and down on stuff. Like sometimes you'll pay $5 for one. A little bigger tube than this. Well, no, this is a 2 ounce. It just looks small. No, it's 1 ounce. Okay, so this is 3 ounces for, I don't remember, 4 something or something. I think you can get a 2 ounce at Walmart for $5 or something. I can't right now. I can't remember for sure. But they were out. They've been being out at Walmart. A lot of stuff that I get all the time. But it seems like when I started using those a couple of years ago, they seemed to work better than the Walmart. That brand of hydrocortisone. And then they seemed to be not working so good anymore, and I think they went up on the price for a while, so I went back to get them at Walmart, and then Walmart started selling them too for this and stuff like, stuff like that. And that got my hands dirty. I don't like that weird dust that comes from no telling where. I don't know what it is, where it came from. So anyway, they were out. That's why I went to Amazon to look. They were out. I'd having trouble getting them for a couple of 2 or 3 weeks, and I was about to run out. Yeah, I don't have any more of it, and so I decided to get those. I think by the time those got here, Walmart had them back in, but I think it was still cheaper that way, because I at least try to figure all that out. Like, what am I paying per ounce, or how many? I don't go like ounce by ounce, but like if I get 3 ounces for so much, if I get two 2-ounce tubes for so much, I actually kind of in my head just now I was thinking those were 2-ounce tubes. Oh yeah. Speaking of, now here's another thing. Well, I think maybe they tried. They had it flat. But, sometimes you get those things and they look, and they're in a box where nothing heavy or sharp was. And I guess that I would kind of like to see some of those brand new. I think somehow you pull a tab and they inflate. They come like this and you pull a tab and they inflate or something. I'm not sure how they do. But anyway, all I really wanted was like 2 cans of Barbasol with a low. Best shaving cream ever. My papa used to use this. This stuff's been around 100 and some odd years. And I haven't used it a whole lot. I started using it when I was young, because when I first started needing to shave, it says 100 years. Made in the USA, 100 years. I thought it might be more than 100 years by now, but the LO version does make a difference. It's more, smoother. And I don't know if LO is good for healing your skin and all that, but I don't know if there's enough of it in there for that. But you can tell it glides better than just the regular Barbasol. And I don't like the kind with smelling in it like Old Spice. Now, my papa used to use Old Spice, men's, smelling stuff. Clone, and my papa was my dad's dad, my grandfather on my dad's side. Anyway, they had 5 for basically cheap enough to make it about what I usually paid, normally if I bought 1 or 2. So I didn't want to buy that many at once, but I finally decided to do it because they've just stayed out. I don't know why they're suddenly, the last month, they've been out of all kinds of stuff again. And there hasn't really been a big thing to cause a run on everything that I know of. I haven't heard anything. Just normals. Everything. I mean, the plague has been getting worse lately, but there's been no shortages on items that I've heard of, like manufacturers and stuff like that. But anyway, I went in and did that this time. Well, we should be good for a while now. And the same thing with the toothpaste. I didn't want to get 4 deals of toothpaste, but and that wasn't Walmart. That was Amazon where they had the best price. And that was the other thing. They were out of. I usually just buy 1, or I usually buy a 2-pack of these at Walmart at the best price I thought, but. I was thinking I might get on and show everything on where I bought it, but I don't know if I want to now. But so those go together. Oh, that's this kind of stuff too. That's all the same type of stuff. That box really just needs to. All I need here is just this. I need to get all these boxes out of here. I don't have room in here for all these boxes. Okay, so Oh, that's really heavy. Now, that box was surprisingly heavy with just those in it. But, this thing... Oop, that didn't work. I've got some boxes over in front of my closet door and hardly get into reach into my closet. Now I'm curious as to what did I pay for that stuff. Keep trying to set stuff up on my bed over there, but I can't reach. Let's see. Well, I guess I'm done. Well, yeah, I'm done unboxing. Oh, I was going to use my multimeter to check on cables again. Well, I won't do it right now. But I'm thinking I could move this thing out of the way and I can get back into get my keyboard out the way I normally use it. I think I will right quick. This stuff, some of it's going in the bathroom. Some of it I'll keep in here. And then my new dryer cleaning tools going, either stay in here or go out to the dryer. I'm not sure yet. My cable, I can't put it on until after I quit. Ooh, I almost ran into the camera. Until I'm done with this recording. I will be unplugging my audio if I do that. My chair, oh, that's the way my chair belongs. I can't stand having it that straight up and down. But I can't get up to that table with it leaning back. Can't even reach it. This chair's about wore out. All the wheels, you know, where the wheels go in on the legs, the wheels are leaning and it just fights me to roll. In certain directions, it leans leans to the left a whole lot. If I spin the legs around again, it gets okay again. But you gotta watch. If this back leg wheel isn't going out, if it's going under, the thing will turn over and you'll land on your back. Don't ask me how I know. All right, now, okay. I knew I was missing something. I gotta have my support. Okay. And once I get situated here, yeah, I'm gonna go with this mic because this wireless stuff, you never know when it's gonna act up on you. You don't actually never know when anything's going to act up on you, but it is the most likely. Probably got an echo there while I did that. It does. Running them both through the mixer makes it sound better, but boy, that's not easy to swap mics that way because I can't see that thing without getting the magnifying glass and everything. If I had a regular, I bought that one because it was $60 total. And that's exactly what I had to spend for my birthday that year. So it's been all right, but I really never, I always wanted, if I bought a mixer, I wanted to buy one bigger than that, but also with sliders, not knobs. So I had used those powered mixing heads and stuff, that little boxes like PVs and stuff, you know, and you look at, you can see them better, especially if there's knobs, you can see them better if you're looking straight on the front. And this one lays down like a regular mixer. I mean, it is a regular mixer, but it all works good. It's not noisy. Anyway, I'm going to go to the desktop, and let's go see. So there's this thing. Bought it on February the 12th. It's unavailable now. Huh. Well, it didn't have bad reviews, 408 ratings and 4.5 stars. It must have just sold out. But this one is a 30-foot for 20. It was 29 something, and the other ones were 26 and 25 and like that. And they were anywhere from 10 foot to 25 foot. But this one had the best reviews of any of them on Amazon, and Walmart didn't have hardly any of them. I don't know. I think they had one or two, and they were. I don't remember. I don't think they had very many reviews or good reviews, and they. I'm kind of looking through here to see. I don't really remember all the details, but yeah, they've got one that's $24.95. That's 20 feet. But I figured, well, if some of those do break, then, with 30 feet's worth, that we probably need about 20 feet worth of it. Probably right at 20 feet. But 75 cents, 5 stars. That's all right. Let's look at the customer. I don't think there's any images of them. Well, yeah, here's one. This is what you're doing. You're trying to get all this lint out of here. But this is what did happen to one of these. That you can tell that the way that looks, I'm going to say that's overheating, probably spinning it really fast. It's so out of shape and everything. I'm hoping. Let's say I'm hoping that's what happened. Otherwise, this could happen to me too. But it didn't break it. This is the only picture of it breaking. They don't have as many pictures on this one as the other ones I looked at. But some of the others, like I said, been up in pretzels. Almost every of the other brands had that problem. But you gotta. It's tough with stuff like this, to know if it's worth 29 cents, much less $29. But there's another one for. Oh, it must be the same brand from another seller or something. Anyway, so that's hopefully if I didn't ever say if you run it from the top. In our case, because ours goes straight up, I would imagine most of those roof jacks, the caps on them, are riveted on. And so you'd have to drill those rivets out to get that thing in there, which might be worth it because if you come from the bottom, well, you're trying to push that stuff up and out. For one thing, it's liable to break it. Once you get so much, if it's got as much in there. I only got 4 or 5 feet up in there with my camera, and so if that's got to be, if you're going to try to push it all the way up the rest of the 15 or so feet, it's liable to break that. Unless it starts breaking up and falling down, but I think most of it's going to just stay on top of that brush and go up. So if you're coming from the top, that's the best way. And and you can just, gravity's going to help you. It's going to fall as you knock it loose. So, but I fall too much. I really can't get on the roof. So if I end up being the one doing it, then I'll have to do it from the bottom. But I used to like. I still like all the old things I used to like, but I didn't mind. I liked climbing and getting up high and doing stuff like that. I always have since I was a kid. But now this is the hydrocortisone I was talking about, and my cable. Yeah, that's been here since Friday. This is Tuesday. So, yeah, I bought it 6 times over the years. So, it's $2.99. That's why I got it. Yeah, $2.99 for 3 ounces. So that's quite a bit cheaper than Walmart. So, and we'll see, it's got good ratings, and I already knew I liked it. I didn't bother reading all the ratings on this one because I had used it before. I'd checked into it, And then that's the my kind of toothpaste I like the best. That is, yeah, okay. I think it's the one. It's supposed to have, what was it? I guess that's what I paid. 15. Oh, I didn't pay any attention. I guess it was on there. 15.35 for 4 of them. So 5, 10, 15. They're usually around $5 each. If you buy them one at a time at Walmart. Those are 5.1 ounces too. They're not like the 2.5 ounces. Where's the price on there? Well, I guess that's what I paid. It hadn't been that long since I ordered it, so it probably was. Sometimes things do go up pretty quick, but I thought the price was always right there. And there's, yeah, that's the cable I got, but this is the old, that's what they used to look like, those colors. You know, I don't know if you noticed, but the colors are, well, this is, actually, I think it looks better now the way it is now. Yeah, they're black and red, not gray and I remember that. That's the old style. That's a picture of the old style from back. That's where they used to look back from the 90s, all the way from 92 on up to the early 2000s anyway. But, yeah, that's the one I got right there, I believe. Yeah, because that's the one that's highlighted when we got there. Yeah, there it is up there, 13.1 feet. Odd length, but I guess that's how the millimeters work out, I guess. But anyway, hopefully, well, I mean, it's good as long as it's not something wrong with it where it makes noise or something. Then it'll be all right. But that's pretty good reviews. The one that I bought before that I sent back. Let's see. There's my dryer. That was $15 basically. My dryer heating coil, some ink pen refills that I had to get, and some. If you do have to replace the dryer heating coil, and you need any connectors, you better get you should get the heat. I recognize that right away. If you're going to connect to a heating coil, you need the heat resistant connectors. The run of the mill are going to probably just melt. Definitely not going to, or they'll get hot and expand and let go, you know. And there's my Bluetooth. I just got that not long ago. My Bluetooth transmit. It's a transmitter and a receiver, but it only does one or the other at one time. It can't do them both. That one was still available until the other day. I kept looking back at it. I was kind of thinking about getting another one. I like it. It was $11 and something. And that's what I was talking on until I switched back to the SM58. Let me look at my stream, make sure I'm recording at the same time, so even if my stream went bad, yeah, I would still be all right. But let's look at the live and make sure everything's still working. I usually don't do these unboxing videos too much, but I really just a lot of times I'll do them and I just don't even stream them. I just save the video for what? You need to change the video resolution. The current resolution is 3840 by 2160, which is not supported for the configuration. Well, let's make sure we're working here. Current resolution. Open widget. What is that? For this configuration, the expected video resolution is 2650 by 1440. Well, so what's happening then? It's streaming. I thought that I had it set. I don't know. I have to shut down and go looking at that. I would mess up my stream. But I've been recording in my full 4K, 3840 by 2160. But I've been converting it. It's supposed to be converting it on the fly to just 1080p. It's not supposed to even be 2560. It's supposed to be 1080. And I don't want to go into the settings or anything while I'm streaming. But, I don't know. I think I better do a screenshot of that. What? The stream health is poor, yeah, because I only have 5 megabit upload speed. But if they're receiving it full size, then something has changed that I didn't realize. Let's see. How does it know what TV I have? What? Oh, I actually did do a video called that. That's not, it doesn't know what my monitor that I'm using is. That I did made that video. Yeah. Well, it should just say Don Bishop live stream. Why does it say that? It's probably because of this new setup and it's screwing everything up. I had it working so perfectly for years. At least I don't have to go through that stupid wizard just to start streaming with OBS. They didn't screw that up. Webcam. Well, I'm not going to edit that in the middle of a stream. Oh, end stream. Let's go look at, maybe when I go to the desktop, that's what's happening. Like when I'm on my cameras. Hasn't dropped a single frame. And usually I always used to drop frames on my other machine. But this, my HP DL380 G7 server, it's a mouthful, is got 2 6-core processors with hyper-threading. It's got 24 cores to work with, 64 gig of RAM, and I put an 8 gigabyte video card in it. So it can do that. It can record, and well, the first time I tried it, testing it out, it was streaming 4K and recording 4K at the same time. Those fans ramped up. It did it, but it's about to run me out of here. You know, those fans ramped up. See, right now I'm using 20% on the CPU. It's only doing 9.9 frames per second. Well, that would make sense. Okay, and the kilobits, 441. Ooh, that's almost my full bandwidth of upload. I only have 4,056. I only have 5 megabits, which would be 5,000. Yeah, I never intended to be streaming that. That's about the normal amount of resource usage. Oh no, that's about almost 4 gigabyte of RAM. See, I couldn't, my other machine that I used to stream on, my Lenovo i5, had 4 gigabyte of RAM and quad-core processor. You know, of course, you couldn't do anything like this on it. Well, I didn't. Now, see all the activity? I mean, it's actually work. This is there's only one other thing I ever did on this that you could actually see some real work being done by this machine. It's working. It's not, but you know what? Those fans aren't that loud. It doesn't sound like it's working that as hard as it actually is. I didn't even pay attention. I heard them, and I thought, well, that's not too bad. I like to do screenshots of notable things, but that's, I guess the percent then is of all CPUs, 20% of all the CPUs is what it's showing there. That's what I thought it meant. Okay, so that's the size of my video that's being made, 2 gigabyte for an hour. So that is, when I do 4K on my camera, they're a heck of a lot. Well, it's 48 megapixels, so this ain't going to be that much. It's in an hour of video, it gets way up there size. Every video on that thing was 4 gigabyte and up. Every time I made a video outside there in the garage, working on that. Okay, so I don't know. I already shut that. I don't know of anything I can do but go through the settings and make sure that it's supposed to I can't think of the word they use, but anyway, it's supposed to be recording in 4K and streaming in 1080p, because that's really all I wanted to stream in. I don't really need the 4K. What I'm kind of wondering is when I get on the camera, let me just get on the camera for a minute and then I'll say what's going on, what I see going on. Cam 1, that's only a 2 megapixel phone camera, and it's streaming over the Wi-Fi. It's only 720p. And I didn't figure that would make any difference because the palette is still the 4K palette. If I don't use the 4K palette, the same size as my monitor, then nothing fits. I can't get any. It's just a hard mess, and so that's why I decided to do it that way. I originally thought I'll just do, 1080 everything, but can't do that with this monitor. Or at least not easily. Oh, now I am doing 30 frames per second. And CPU is actually 38% on here. What does it say up there? 42, yeah. So it went up. Usually when you're using the cameras, it actually works the machine harder than doing the desktop. Now let's see if this one makes any difference. 40% CPU, 30 frames per second. Let's go back to the desktop and see if it changes real quick. Yep, frames went all the way back down to 14.9. But that's fine for the desktop actually. I learned a long time ago that actually when you're streaming the desktop, I was trying to do 30 frames per second and it was just horrible and it wasn't working right. And I finally figured out it was with a different app. I can't think of the name of it. I think it's before OBS came out. GTK Record My Desktop, or Record My Desktop is the app. There's GTK and there's QT graphic user interfaces for them, either one. But I always liked GTK the best. And anyway, I couldn't get it to work until I finally found somewhere it said try on their site. I think I finally got to reading on it, and they said try 5 frames per second. Worked perfectly. I was trying everything. I didn't want to go lower because that would make it look worse normally with regular video, because of what it looked like was not enough frames per second. But I knew I couldn't do more than 30. But I started with 30 and worked my way down to like 15, maybe even 10, but I never thought of trying 5. Anyway, this is what I was using, or I am using, but I'm talking on the SM58 wired mic right now. But I have that hooked up to my mixer, and to my Behringer 802 mixer, and from a phone, 2 lapels plugged into the phone, a dual lapel, not 2 separate lapels, but 2 lapels with one TRRS connector, going into the phone, and then over Bluetooth. Of course, the phone has Bluetooth. Over to the the receiver side of this adapter here, and the only thing is it does have quite a bit of delay. I tried it straight to the camera, and it seems even worse than doing it this way. But going through my VM, it actually sounds pretty good, as long as everything's working right. Oh, it looks like I don't think the ratings were that low when I got it. I think they were up like 65 or 70%. But it didn't have, it's only got 24 ratings. And I used to always install it after 2 days. Well, I used it for all day. Let's see. I used it for 13 hours, more than 13 hours. I actually, of course I have to get it on and then get started, but I used it I worked actually 13 hours on that dryer one the other day, and I was using this the whole time recording videos. I made 51 videos over about 3 or 4 different days I worked on it. And they all auto restored on that camera every 24 minutes. So anyway, so far it's been really good. Way better than I expected. And it was, like I said, it was $11. somewhere on there. Well, I don't want to go into. I don't want to go into areas where I'm showing my account numbers and stuff. I think no, this is the one. I think it's plugged into the monitor right now, sending my audio over to my patch bay, and then down to my amplifiers. From there, let's see. Oh, here's the other one. Refunded. This one, go look at it. So this is, oh yeah, 1/4 inch to 3.5 millimeter TRS. That is what, to go from the mixer to, well, to the sound card. It would go perfectly with my Lenovo i5. I wanted one for years and never got one. I had a regular insert cable with a 1/4 inch to 1/8 inch adapter or 3.5 millimeter adapter. And I was always having to be really careful when I'd get in the computer rack not to get a hold of it with another cable or something and break. And it's pretty loose on that Lenovo, but it's not broken. I think it's still plugged. Yeah, it's still plugged in there. I just unplugged it from over here on the. Anyway, this is the one that had the right channel was dead, and it was cheap, but it was not worth the trouble. And it actually sounded like it was going to be okay. I think I did see somebody. It's probably same thing. Right channel dead, or is that me? I think I did review that. I hardly ever review things, but yeah, that's somebody else. No, that's me. Right there. Excuse me. Now I need a cough drop. Quote, Don Bishop. Right channel dead on arrival. Right channel dead. Tested on multimeter and audio mixer. Waste of time and money. That's what Don Bishop has to say about it. But Amazon did do right. They gave me the money back and didn't even make me send it to them. I guess I was the only one that gave that. Obviously, with the 13 ratings, there's only a handful of reviews, so the rest of them are just ratings. But like, there's oh, I'm the only one. So I guess I was the first one to have bad luck with it. I usually don't buy them if there's even one person that says something came DOA. I won't buy stuff unless they can't find anything. If they have like 200, well, maybe more than 200, if they have 500, 1,000, 8,000 reviews or something, and there's, 10 or 20 people, like if they had 8,000 reviews and there's 10 or 20 people that said it came dead, I might, and if it was a year or 2 or 3 ago, I might chance it, but, and then this is it. Yeah, okay, that's what I got. I haven't tested these. I got a whole pack of these. I used two or four of them, and they worked fine. That's a pretty good deal. But they have 82% still. That's pretty good price on. Pretty good price and pretty good reviews. About as good as you're going to get on Amazon. But it shows that they have the gold color. Of course, they're not gold plated, and mine aren't even gold, which I wasn't worried about that, and I didn't really expect it for that price. That's just probably, maybe, I don't know what the process is. Probably, I would say it's probably anodized to make it look gold, but it don't even be that good of a process. Anodizing things is good and really rugged. But when you get stuff like this for audio that looks gold like that, take it, you can just scrape it right off. It's not gold plated. It's gold in color, but it ain't gold plated. Okay. And those fans I bought, and I don't think I've tested them yet. They had pretty good reviews. I don't think I've tested, maybe I've tested one of them, maybe. I haven't put them in anything yet. Not available again. Yeah, they had decent reviews. And they were using them the way I was planning on using at least one of them. I mean, I'll probably use some in computers, but I bought a vent fan, and it's not available anymore. Let's see if it's I'm kind of reviewing everything on that. I bought it on Amazon. Where's the rest of my orders? I bought a vent fan, and I got it all. I worked my butt off getting it installed up in the roof of my closet, sending the heat out into the attic from the server. And ran 2 hours and it started rattling and vibrating and making a horrible noise. There it is. Oh, it's back. I didn't want to send it back. I had no idea I might have been able to just get a refund. I thought they would. Usually when stuff goes away, right, when it has a bad reputation, it goes away. Usually doesn't come back. And it looked like it would be okay. But that's what I wanted, the louvers to open and close automatically and everything. Looks like they've changed the pictures. It had a picture of it in a bathroom in the roof. And when it got here, it had a little piece of paper and it said, don't use, don't use it in the roof, use it on the wall. But I didn't say that it said vertically or horizontally. I can always forget which way is which on that, how to say it. So it doesn't have very good reviews. And I don't know, let's see if I reviewed that. I think I might, whoops, hit the wrong thing. I don't think I did. Either that or they've only got 14 ratings. They should all be showing. I think I may have not done it because it said no longer available when I went back to the page. Yeah, there's only a few. I guess I ought to review that, but not right now. But no, that I didn't send it back. Why? Oh, because I decided. I think it was on sale when I bought it for like $10 to $12. I think. Well, if I go view this order, I'll be showing too much of my personal stuff I shouldn't show. So I decided that, and I decided, well, I might put you can get a 120 millimeter fan in there, but it's going to hit the backside of those louvers. But if you don't shut the lid all the way, maybe, and redo it kind of in a different way, maybe I can get it to work. They will fit in there. I remember that. And I hadn't bought any of those 120 millimeter fans at that time, but I'd have since. So I want one of those. I actually we bought that for my sister and brother-in-law for Christmas. I bought that to put up in there. And it works great, but I tried it out and everything, but I haven't put it in there. And I'm kind of debating about, it's going to be some more work to get it installed that I haven't felt up to doing. Because everything's working up over your head, standing on a ladder thing. But I've decided to go this route. And I may actually need that I think it was a little cheaper when I bought it, like $25 or something. But they had good reviews. Yeah, it's still doing all right. I tried to go the cheaper route and got got burned, so I decided to go 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 ahead and get what I really what I really would have rather had anyway. But I also I've got a it's a 4 inch, three. It's a dryer vent. I think you know the kind with the little flappy door. I had one that I'd bought for something. I don't know what. Well, I don't know what I used it for a long time, but anyway, I had made a filter box and hooked it up to the dryer with some flexible hose. That's what I did. I bought a flexible hose and it came with that. And hooked it up. I put a filter in a cardboard box for the dryer for years to keep the lint from blowing all over the garage because that was the one thing that drove us crazy. And just, it took a long time to, fill up. It never did fill up, but I had to clean it ever so often. Then we got that vent out the roof, and so I took that, but I, took that apart and kept the vent pipe in the, so I used but I didn't use it. Normally, the door is hanging down and it's easy to open. Well, I mounted it in the roof of the closet, so you really have to have some air pressure to push it open. But I had to go ahead and screw it open because that little fan I bought couldn't open it. That three fan deal I think can, but that's an awful lot of small place for all those three of those fans to try to go through. I'd probably have to turn it up real high and make a lot of noise. But I don't really want to cut. I have learned now since the weather's cooled off and everything. I put that in. Well, when I bought that fan, what did it say? September 2020. Oh, that's a year ago. Been that long? Okay, so well, anyway, lately it's been the air, no matter what, I've got a fan up there, I've got a floor fan, and it's just hanging off a zip tie, so it's blowing at that hole. It's not, enclosed like this would be. So, or these. The 2x4s I put the 2x4s in there before I even decided to buy that, but these will fit. I might have to, despite maybe too wide the space I have in there, but I can just put some runners in there, some shims, basically, some like 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch shims or whatever, so that these will hit them. And they're about the same length as the 2x4s that are already in there. How long are they, does it say? Yeah, 14.17 inches. So, but only on one end is where I'd have an opening. And so I thought, well, I'll just make it like a duck, I'll just let it be. I'll leave plenty of space in there, like the full thickness of the 2x4 for the air to go through. But it's going to not necessarily want to go the right direction because it's not built for airflow, But if I open that up, for all three of those fans, like I was kind of thinking of at first. One thing, it's really bad job because there's all that. We have a lot of insulation up there. That I already had a face full of that once already for that day. I don't want to do that again. I can't get up there and crawl around anymore in the attic. I can't do it from the top. So plus, really, most of the work needs to be done from underneath, and. Then I wouldn't have a door that opens and closes that way. It would just be a big opening, and what's going to happen is you're still going to get if it's off, of course, and it's cold, then the cold air's coming in, and that's what's already happening now. Well, because I don't have it sealed in any way, it's just a hole with a fan blowing at it right now. The door is screwed open, like I said, dryer vent door. Because I had made it to fit this other one that died on me. That became unusable. The fan still runs, but that fits into that little vent, the round. I'm pointing at the round part of that. Yeah, there it is, opened up. Yeah, all those notches are they work with louvers. The louvers it stops the louvers. They stop the louvers when they open up. Make them to stop at the right place. But the round end of it, that goes perfectly into my dryer vent. And if it had enough power, it could open those louvers and the dryer vent flapper. And when it's off, then it would close, and I wouldn't have, you're still going to get some air coming back through, but if you turn that lid the right direction, it won't have that opening that you see in the picture. If you turn it over, all of them will close. You're still going to get some air leakage, but you would have, you wouldn't just be wide open, That's how I had it all planned. But it couldn't open the dryer vent. It couldn't, and then turn, and it could just, let's see, no. It could open its louvers sitting like it is right there. It couldn't open its louvers up in the, in the other position, up in the roof. And like I said, they've changed this up now. That is not at all, that fan in there is nothing like that, all the way. So the whole thing is just, they changed it a little bit, but it's deceptive. The whole thing is deceptive. The whole advertisement there. You don't get what you see there. Well, I still think I might have, hopefully I didn't pay $17 for it. I don't remember now. But yeah, the reason I saved it is I thought I might want to, I would have paid the $12 for just a housing similar to that to put a fan in. I thought, well, I'll keep that and put my own a better fan in it. And I'm still thinking maybe I might try that before I do install the three-way one, because it's going to be a lot more work. All I have to do, well, I'm looking at those pictures again. I hadn't got it out. I think it's in the closet. I haven't got it out again recently to think about it. Where's those pictures I was looking at? There they are. But, yeah, I'd forgotten. This has to be screwed together in its normal way, or those louvers won't stop. They'll whip in the wind and make noise. When they open by the fan, when the fan opens it up, they hit those right there where I'm trying to put the magnifying glass. I can't get it to stop. They hit those and that stops it. I'd forgotten about that. I was thinking, I remember there was something in the way of mounting your 120 millimeter fan. It's all that stuff. And I thought, well, I'll just cut that stuff out then. But I've already went through all that. Made a video of this when I took it apart too. I took this fan out, and it runs fine. It doesn't look to be anything wrong with it. I think it's just got a cheap, instead of having like a, I always thought bushings were, most all of them were brass, but somebody said something else the other day on a video I was watching that a lot of them were made out of an older fellow, maybe even older than me. I thought, I get better. I mean, he probably knows what he's talking about. Anyway, I think the bushing, I looked it over really good, and I think the bushing is just such a soft piece of crap that it 2 hours is running straight. It just started grabbing the shaft of the fan. It just it wasn't wobbly. I think it's just too soft, and it maybe the running that long it heated up, enough. It was probably just too grabby to start with. It wasn't smooth like it should be, like a bushing should be. Bushings run, 10 years, a regular brass bushing or not brass. They're not copper. I think what they're doing is making some of them out of copper now. It looks like copper. And it's, what I always thought was the brass bushing. They look kind of like copper, but they're a little less gold and a little yellowish tint to them maybe, and they're harder than copper. But you look and some of your cheap computer fans are the same way. That's what'll go bad. And the motors are fine, but they just can't spin anymore. They're so tight. You can tell when you spin them with your finger. And I used to clean them, take them apart and clean them and everything. And some of them would last another few months. Some of them would last a week or a month. And I started doing this, tightening up again. Anyway, but if I want to put another fan in this, if I really want it to get good airflow, I really need to cut all that out of there. It won't come out. These parts here, it's like injection molded. It's all part of the same device. And then originally I thought, well, maybe I can just buy a motor, but then, you saw what I bought. I thought, you know what? Don't waste any more time or money on trying to make this thing work. Just buy those 3 fans that had good ratings, So I did. I think I'm talking myself out of trying to put one of those 120 millimeter fans in that again. I'd forgotten how much it was going to. Not that I care about hacking that up anymore, but if it doesn't work, the fan, 120 millimeter fan would just fit inside of that cover. That's how the size of that cover is. It won't fit in this hole. How did I get that to where I could do that? There we go. It's this big. And so almost about half the fan is going to be just blowing at this right here. It's not going to be going down the hole. That's the other thing. It wouldn't probably even open the little doors. It might, but yeah, it might not even open them because the fans I think could do it just fine, but not with. They need a bigger opening. Yeah, that's not going to be working. What I was thinking is if it would work, like I thought about, again, trying to clean. I thought about putting some, I have some valve grinding compound in my toolbox for automotive valves. I thought, if you put some of that in that hole and then, just since it runs, just turn it on. Put a little in that hole, shove the thing, put the fan back together, turn it on, and run it for about 5 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. See if it seems to run smoother. That might actually start running. After a while, it might start running slower because anyway, it would polish it. And if that stuff's too soft, then it'll take a bunch of it out of that bushing that's in it. And you'll find out it just ain't going to work. But either that or try to find a good bushing material and take what's in there out and put another bushing in there. You might have to tear that plastic case out to get the bushing. Well, the motor, it's not in the case, it's in the motor. Take those 2 screws out, and I think, the blade, like I said, the blade isn't like that. I forget. I guess I should get it out. Oh, there's a picture of it. If you're looking right through there, there's what the blade looks like. It's kind of like a computer fan blade, but they're short and there's more of them. It is nothing like a squirrel cage fan in that picture. Not even close. Yeah, there's a little bit better view. You can just pull. That's one of those kind of fans where it's just a press fit, plastic press fit. You can pull the blade off. You just be careful how you do it, but you can pull it off of that shaft. So you can get the motor completely out of there without tearing it up. It took me a little bit of looking to figure out how to do that, but what I'm saying is that's a squirrel cage fan. It's not anywhere close to that. Archimedes principle in fluid design. If you know what an Archimedes screw is, that's not even really like an Archimedes screw either. They use it to pump water over. They're used around the world. The original type, very. I guess you would say there it is. That's what the fan blade actually looks like. and it felt like it blew a good amount of air, just not enough to do what I needed it to do. But like I said, standing up like this, it would just open those louvers. Put it up, where this is going straight up, as it comes out this side. And that's how it's meant to go, and that's what I needed. It can't open them. It tries, but it can't do it. So anyway, I'm really going on about this one. Yeah, here's my video of all the things I bought that lately, that some are good and some are bad, really bad. Waste of time and money. And the time is really what makes me aggravated, because, I get so worried about buying something that's going to be not going to be any good. When I buy something, I want it to last. I mean, like I said, I grew up where things were made to last, and I had many years of my life where I couldn't afford to buy things, and I was always fixing them and making them go a little longer and go a little longer. And so when I finally got something new, it was going to, I was going to buy something that was going to last. And when I was a teenager, when I got my first car when I was 16, I would always go, at first, when things I had trouble with my starter. My starter head kept breaking on my 64 Chevelle. Well, actually, my 64 Chevelle had a 6-cylinder, and there wasn't nothing wrong with it. Okay, back up again. My first car, I paid $160 for it, a 1962 Buick Invicta. I saved up my money for like 3 years, my allowance, and when I turned 16, I bought it. And I had it 6 months or whatever, 8 months, I don't know. I got hit going across the highway, and and it pushed the driver door in, got broadsided. It had actually snowed. We don't get much snow here, but it had snowed and it was icy, and it had just started thawing out. There was still stuff on the highway, and actually, my mom had been driving it to work because her car went down during that couple of weeks there, and so when she gave it back to me, it was missing real bad and wasn't running good, and I couldn't figure out what it was. I was just learning about mechanics and stuff. My aunt's husband was a mechanic, and so I was going over to his, going to town to his house for him to help me figure it out. Well, I was normal, I was a kid and I was a hotshot. So, I would cut it close getting across the highway when people are coming. There's those crossovers in a highway where people drove, well, normally they drove 80 miles an hour, but this was icy, so they probably slowed down to 50, I mean, most of it was melted. But anyway, I tried to cross the road, and they were a little closer than I realized, I think. And I did it. Stopping wouldn't. I was all out halfway. It was a big old long boat car, and it was already covering up half the road anyway. So I just gave it all its gas it had and tried to make it on through. And I can remember seeing that car come sliding in at me, just about almost completely sideways. It was crisscrossed, and I couldn't go no faster. Wouldn't have helped to stop now, and it hit my driver's door. And I had my seatbelt on, but and they didn't have shoulder straps and all that back then. But it hit me hard enough. Well, it bent that door and broke the hinges. The door was no longer attached to the car. But I ended up on the passenger side, and it hurt my right ribs. I hit the other door so hard that seatbelt just kind of it slowed me down. I'm sure if without it, my head might have went through the window on the other side. But so I didn't get hurt any more than kind of a bruise on my right side. But the car was, well, there wasn't hardly any. It was actually at that time still worth being a keeper, because there wasn't hard. You just didn't see those Buick Invictas, and now they're popular, worth some money. It had a 445 big block Wildcat. Well, 445 Wildcat, that's what it said on the air cleaner, a big block engine. And I didn't really know how cool it was. I liked it, but I didn't know how cool it was until years later. But anyway, so my grandparents, they felt sorry for me, and they said, well, we'll buy you a car. I guess they even said I had to pay them back. I expected that I'd pay them back, but I don't guess I ever did, never was able to. I think I didn't want to take it at first, but I said, well, okay, if I pay you back. Anyway, but I said, but one thing, and they wanted me to go up to Wichita Falls to look at, you want to watch the fan while I tell stories? Probably don't want to, you may not be listening to me tell stories, so you may be gone. But Wichita Falls, my great aunt and uncle, which my grandma, my mama's sister, they had a '64 Chevelle. I knew it was a 4-door, but I said, okay, that's fine. 2-doors were expensive. They were popular. But I said, I don't want, is it a V8? I don't want no 6-cylinder. I want a V8. And they told me, they said they called them and asked them. I might have been there when my mama called. But anyway, it was supposed to be a V8. It was a nice car. They'd bought it new. They'd had it, I don't know how many years, but it was in good shape. And got it, I don't remember. I think it was like $400. Maybe they didn't buy it new, but anyway. It was a '64, and this was 1973. So, if they bought it new, they had it a couple of years there. But anyway, it was in really good shape. But what it was when I got there, and it was blue. I liked the color. But, of course, a kid, a 4-door was not cool back then. But especially to people like me, I wanted to be a hot rodder. And but that was okay. I didn't mind that too much. But as soon as I opened the hood, it's a nice car, in good shape, air conditioning, everything. And you didn't get cars with air conditioning very often, especially an old car back then, very, very often. And 6-cylinder. It had power steering, air conditioning, but it was a 6-cylinder. It didn't have enough power to get out of its own way, And I didn't have the heart to say, I don't want that. I'm too good for that, once we got up there. So I got it. And but the first thing I did, first chance I got, my mom had a friend that was a mechanic. I got him to put me a 350 in it, V8, if you don't know that. And 350, well, it already had, actually, it was an automatic. It's 256 owner with a power glide, 2-speed power glide. If you know cars, you know what a power glide is. But this was a 6-cylinder power glide, not not the V8, not the cast iron power glide, just aluminum power glide for a 6-cylinder. And there is a difference. And I can tell you, how I know? Because I tore that up in a couple of months. That thing would do 120 all day long. Well, it didn't have enough handling to do it very long. The only time I ever got it up that fast was out on, he lived in Waco, and so out on I-35. And actually, I got it up past, I estimated 125. It would just sit there and run it, but it would start getting hot if you kept, I tried to see how far I could go, because you had miles straight to go. And it started getting hot, and I had to slow down. But anyway, I made a couple of trips down there because with the I tore up the transmission, peeling out and all that stuff, drag racing it. So he put me another power glide in it that came off a V8, and I didn't tear it up. It was good. It was good. And so I was one of the first ones to race a power glide before the big time racers made that the standard transmission for a dragster. And that's because that's what I got. But I found out, I raced my friend, we had a quarter mile marked out on the back road. He had a 3-speed automatic, and what did he have? I don't remember, but I was really surprised how it actually, it did make your car faster, because it actually took more time to switch 1, 2, 3, just like comparable cars with about the same amount of power and weight. You could go 70 in first gear, and then when you hit second gear, that thing would keep on walking. And I forgot I don't remember the numbers we figured out. Of course, they were just us going, using a watch and stuff. But anyway, it was fairly quick. There was cars around that were real hot rods. They were faster, but I usually just raced myself, running, spinning out and doing donuts and get on the highway and go as fast as I could before I had to get back off to turn off to go to school in the mornings. But I have no clue why I was telling all about car stories. So I know I just wanted to say something about that Chevelle, and then I had to back up. I thought I had to tell the whole story. But I didn't wreck the Chevelle, so yeah. Okay, so I won't go on and on about the rest of it. But I didn't wreck the Chevelle. I had it several more years. But yeah, I have no clue why I see what I was looking at. If that'll refresh my memory. The fan have no, they ain't got nothing to do with the '64 Chevelle. But I never really paid attention to this, what comes up over here, but when I saw that fan a minute ago, buy it again, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to buy that again. I thought I went and made a review about that and told how bad it was. I guess I didn't. That was a good purchase. That was 98 or 99 cents. I got my mom a phone for her birthday in November, and she needed a case cover for it. I had those on for 99 cents. It's a good cover. I think the only reason is because that color, that hot pink color wasn't popular. But she loves pink, so it wasn't a problem for her. That right there says archive order, and I always want to click on that because I think it's going to go to the next row of orders. Where are the rest of the orders? Oh, I think you have to start up here and say you want it longer amount of time. Used to it said 3 months, 6 months, like that, but it's not doing that. I thought I had bought, that was something I was fixing. I need to test these, but that's not part of what I've been buying, so I'll do it in a little bit. But let me see. I'll show what I'm talking about in a second. After there's that fan. One. Now I'm thinking I better just go and do this because I can put it in there and leave that one hole in there. And if I'm not getting enough airflow, or if I turn it up too loud because it'll get kind of loud if you get it full blast. It's got a speed control on it. But I'm afraid to open up, like that whole area there, 14 by 5 inches, because then I'm really going to get a draft. I've been getting this year, last couple of weeks, I've been getting cold. And I leave that fan, if I turn the fan off, and the cold air pours in. So I leave the fan on, and besides that, the server will get too hot. It'll start making noise. Fans will ramp up too loud and keep me awake, or wake me up or whatever. But anyway, so yeah, it's pretty tricky to try to have a server in your, even in your closet in your bedroom. So but I got to thinking after I ended up with this and then I thought, okay, this will be my exhaust fan, and then I could mount this in the wall vertically if I could get that fan to work good, or put another fan in it. If I could get that fan to work good, or put another one in it, mount it, I guess that's vertically, like it's setting, up and down, but have it and put heat thermostats, to turn them on and off. Turn these on when it gets too hot. Like at a certain point, if it's cold in this room, there's some I've been looking at on Amazon. If it's cold in my room, then this one opens up and pulls heat out of the closet into my room. And if it's too hot, actually they could both be open at the same time. Some of it going in my room and some of it going out. That heater makes a lot of heat. That server makes a lot of heat. I think it's like 1,500 BTUs or something, or more than that. It's listed in its manual what it makes. Then you'll know right quick if you run it without something to get the heat out. Because when I was first setting it up, I had it sitting on a table, 2-3 feet from me, my work table here that I was using earlier. Anyway, of course and they're not real expensive, but I can get one that is a dual controller, like for, I don't remember, I think they're $16 for a single and $25 for a dual controller with 2 thermostats. Anyway, I could rig it all up to control them both, except for that speed control here kind of complicates matters, because it's just set to go to, it's a transformer, and power supply and a speed controller all in one, and goes to 110 volts, which is what I wanted. But what you really want is for the controller I would buy would be 12 volts. Anyway, it would cause some work to be done like that, unless I bought a 120 volt one. But this one runs on 120 volts too. This is 120 volt. It's not made to run on, unless it's one of those dual purpose ones. But as far as I know, it only made to run on 120 volts. It doesn't have a big transformer or anything, so it's not a DC fan. These do. There it is right there. But yeah. So if I got one that was made for 120 volts, then I'm fine. Yeah. But I think those cost a little more. But anyway, I was thinking about doing that. Of course, this one would probably just be that fan's just not going to be any good. Period. It's just if you've ever heard a worn out bushing, that's what it's like. It's vibrating, making noise. It's not grinding yet. I didn't run it that long. It wouldn't, it's not that powerful of a motor. It wouldn't, if it started wanting to grind, it would just stop it. It would freeze up. I got that. And, I did check it a week or so ago. It still smells like brand new plastic to the point that I can't wear it, but I haven't been anywhere yet. But that's a real respirator, N95 rated respirator. And I was saying, I did finally get some 3M N95 masks from company called Newark. Well, I was opening a box from them earlier in a different video. Kept that separate because it's a whole nother thing. But finally, after all these months, was able to find some N95 masks that I could buy. So if I need to get out, now at least I got some real masks. I definitely didn't want to get out with a stupid dust mask. That does absolutely. As a matter of fact, wearing a dust mask, a regular dust mask, I think is really quite a bit more dangerous than no mask, because if someone does sneeze on you, cough on you, the mask is extremely absorbent material, that paper. So it's going to absorb all those germs and bacteria, the virus, and it's going to force you to breathe it in, because there's no way, period, that a dust mask is the pores in it are small enough to stop viruses. That's what the N95 rating means, is that it is, I can't think of all the right words, but the pores in it are small enough to stop things as small, microscopic things, viruses, certain gases and bacteria and stuff like that. That's the whole thing about an N95 mask. And these filters are N95 filters and that. But those ones I got, they are 3M masks that I got. They smell even worse than this thing did when the first day I got it. Hopefully they're going to finish curing. That was brand new plastic. I'm kind of expected. I wasn't surprised with that, but I was surprised with those, because those 3M masks are paper. I don't really know why they smell so bad, but they're strong. You cannot put it on and wear it. So we're still not good yet. Oh yeah, my computer powered supplies. Okay, so now we're back. Oh, there's my video card I was talking about that's in the server. First time I turned it on, that thing went through the roof, and it wasn't controlling the fans right, and it didn't know what to do with them, and full blast. I turned it off quick because I knew they were flimsy fans. They would have disintegrated. And I know I was right, because my favorite server guy, Morton, of my Playhouse channel, almost 98% of what I know about servers I learned from watching his videos. he put one in one of his servers the other day, and it was doing that, going screaming. He just let it keep running and messing with it, and it disintegrated the fans, both of them. There wasn't nothing left but a cogwheel in the middle. So that was my fear, and I turned mine off. And I was right. I found out. Glad he showed me that. Thanks, Morton. Oh, and there's my 4K camera. It's got a 13 megapixel CMOS sensor, supposed to be a Sony, but they bump it up with onboard software, converting software to 48 megapixels. But you can see the pixels. It's just. But if I tried like going all the way down and down. I thought, well, maybe it'll look better at 1080p, or I've set it on 13 megapixels, 10 to 12, 10. And it's still, you could see the pixels. The only one I set it on that it actually looked like a smooth video without all that pixelating was like the lowest one, like 4.3 aspect ratio. Can't think of, I don't remember what it was now. But anyway. Okay, well that's everything I bought in 2020. I'm not just trying to go through everything I bought. That's what I've been doing. But okay, so let's get out of this. Well, I think I better check my stream one more time since it was telling me there's something wrong. The stream itself might end up not being any good. If I want this video uploaded, I might have to upload it. Usually when a stream says it's poor, it usually quits working. Lose your stream. The stream itself might end up. It's working still. It makes you think it's not working when you get to this page because it just looks black, and then it finally shows this little window. But yeah, I got to get in and figure out what's going on with that. But I don't really know why I'm doing that. Yeah, I did not think that's what I was doing. So let's see. Yeah, let's go to the 4K camera. Where is it? There it is. Okay. So I had that set up. It's like the worst angle ever, but I wanted to have me. I thought it would be a good idea to have me and I had my little workbench here, and I was unboxing stuff. But what I had picked up off my desk, these adapters. Now I didn't get those recently, but I've had several sets for years, and I use them all the time to, like if I have regular RCA connectors, male RCA connectors, and I need to make them longer, like a regular RCA with one with a 3.5 millimeter on one, make it 10 feet long, that way. But I plugged these in on a patch bay up there. Right now, all I have going through it is the TV goes to it. Well, actually, yeah, comes out of the TV. Okay, I line out audio out from the TV to the patch bay, and then another set of RCAs are plugged in there going down to my audio amps. And I thought, and it's my buddy's dad made it. He was an electronics engineer and a musician. He made it and had a little recording studio in his house, in one of his bedrooms. And I got some of that equipment because my buddy didn't know what to do with it when he passed. And he made this. I don't know when he made it, 70s, 80s, and it's at least like early to mid 80s. It's pretty well made, but you know how when plastic gets really old, it'll shrink and it usually gets a lot harder too. But that's what I'm thinking, is it has shrunk because the center pins of the RCAs don't make good. And I've had it for, I've had it for almost 20 years myself. So there you go. See how old it is? They just don't. They used to be, some of them were loose and some of them were fine. Now they're on, like every one of them's loose, and so you never. Some of them, it's a hit and a miss whether you're going to get connection, and you'll get like my left speakers will be working and not working. It's usually the right. Well, I can tell. I always hear these right ones because I'm right here with them, but the other ones, my left ones, are across the room. So I thought, okay, I'll get these and just hook those lines together. And I did that this morning at about 3 or 4 in the morning. I had gotten up at about, I've been up a long time again. I had gotten up at 9 last night. I woke up at 9. I was so tired, but I laid there another hour almost and never did go back to sleep, so I got up. So I thought these were perfectly fine. They were laying on my desk. Well, I started to plug them in, and I got the rights together. It's going to jump them together, skip that patch bay because I'm not even using the rest of it because it's partially because of the connection problems. But anyway, I won't go into more of that. It started buzzing like super loud, and I was like, and when that happens to me now, I just get like that, and I'm froze. I don't know what to do. So I finally got enough. Well, of course, I hadn't only been awake very long. I just really sat down and kind of started getting woke up. I did breakfast, but I was just beginning to watch a video or something, and I thought, you know what? I kept forgetting to do that, and so it was buzzing like crazy. And then so I was like, and at first, my first thought is to always figure things out. So then, okay, I want to try the other one, And all I did was kept making more buzzing noises and stuff. And I'm like, what are you doing? So I just wake everybody up in the house. So I plugged it all back, and every time you plug and unplug something on it, when it's live, it starts going, blah, 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 It's not a real big deal if you're not bothering anybody. But it was bothering me. I wasn't awake enough for all that. But anyway, I've picked some that seem to make good connection, different ones than the ones that they were originally in. And I was wanting to test these out, see if they're bad. And since it's related, I guess I'll just do that. These aren't purchases this time. These are just something I already have had for years. I don't even remember when I got them. I've had them so long, when or where. Some things I have, I just came by. Like when I used to do sound and stuff, maybe my friend was running a sound company, and these things, they didn't really use those, so I don't think I got them there, but I do have a few connectors and things that I had for emergency repairs on, at a show that I ended up with that I wasn't really intended to keep, but and I still have them since the early 90s. And they still, some of the connectors I never used yet. But there was a couple of cables that I don't know if they still work or not. But anyway, I had a couple of insert cables that, I'm not sure because I bought some myself when I was selling that stuff. But not sure where I got everything anymore. Now what I'm doing, I'm going to take these covers off so I can poke myself as many times as I can. These things are sharper than an ice pick. You even know what an ice pick is these days? Do people know what those things are? Okay, so that's the sleeve, both of them. Now, what I'm suspecting is that one of these is shorted out. So we'll go on the inside. That one's not. Okay, that's the way it should do. Inside the inside should beep. Okay, now. Okay, they don't show to be bad. So why did it buzz like a maniac when I plugged those two together? I thought, for a minute there, I thought, no, they're not grounded. I thought they were fine because I had used them. This pair here's laying up here by my mixer, and And so I had them out using them recently, and I thought they were fine. But then I got to thinking back. That cable I bought. I thought, okay, maybe the reason I thought maybe I was using those in one of my circuits I built, to go from here to the server, and how to patching stuff together, and maybe that was what was bad. That's the thing it's bad about, and that's why I went ahead and bought a purpose cable. This cable does not need any adapters to go from the mixer to here. And that's the input. And see, okay, so like right now, right now I'm looking at my signal, my mic input signal, mic aux input signal. It's my mic input signal. My mic goes to the mixer, to the V-amp, out of the V-amp, into the server through that little USB sound card. And I have seen a stereo signal come up on here several times, but then it'll go back. It'll show you. It has, when there's a stereo, like the desktop audio, it has 2 lines. This one has 1. Oh, here, let me show it. I'm talking about is right here. This one has 1 line, and recently I saw 2 come up. And I think I have a cable that's going bad. It's like sometimes it's connecting, sometimes it's not. Either that or the connector inside of the VM. See, like up here on the desktop audio, you can tell it's wider. You can tell, and when it's activated, then you can really see it looks like 2 lines. And you see the audio cam 3, that's coming from, well, it's not on right now, but it's always been 1 line, I believe. That's coming from camera 3. Actually, I'm not using it as a camera. I'm using it just as audio, and I use an app called IP Webcam. It streams the audio. You can do audio, video, or both. And I do them separately because those phones can't, the Wi-Fi chips just can't stream that much at once. It starts dropping frames on the video, and audio will cut in and out too if you try to do them both. So I end up using what I had originally named Cam 3. I used to have it set up as a camera. I started using it as an audio only device, and it's like I said, I'm not using it right now. It's not even booted up. But anyway, it's streaming audio from the phone 3 over, and I usually plug a lapel into it like I'm doing right now with the Bluetooth adapters. It streams audio over the Wi-Fi, and OBS Studio can pick it up. It can pick up, they call it VLC streams. That's just VLC. It's really not a video streamer and player. It really doesn't have its own format. It picks up several different, it picks up IP streams, it picks up RT, I can't think of all your different letters of streams. I can't think of them right now. It will pick them up if you know how to set them up. But this one will pick up one particular kind, and it just so happens I found an app called IP Webcam that will send VLC type streams, and so OBS Studio can pick them up. It's just easy to set up. I just turn it on at IP Webcam in my phones, and I either tell it to stream audio on this one and video on the other two. Or that's how I used to do it before I got this other camera, this one here. Well, this is how I'm doing it on Cam 1. This is Wi-Fi. That's desktop. This is the Wi-Fi stream right here. And you set it up as one and desktop. I can show you. So you set it up like this. I have it written in there so I'll know. So help me to remember. You put in there, you say, you add a VLC stream, I believe is what it does say in there. Oh, you should be hiding yourself right now. 192.168.0.194, port 8080/video, and that'll pick up that IP webcam stream. When it's audio, I don't think I can show that. Well, Well, it's just not typed out. I can't show it. I can right click and go into the properties, but I might make things break, so won't do that. But that one there would be its IP address, and it would say /wave, see, audio.wave, W-A-V. Some reason you have to put the file extension on the audio, but not on the video. But that's how IP webcam works, actually. If you were actually doing like a VL, you can, if you're streaming from the app VLC, then you would do it the way the syntax that it works with. So, and it's used to be, I used to do that all the time. That's how I learned how to do IP streaming. But and it did have a wizard always, I believe. That's all it really has now. It's not really a wizard anymore. For a while they went to a wizard and I didn't like it. It was just ridiculous and confusing. But I used to be able to do it. And my mind is not as good as it used to be, but back in the early 2000s when I was running Windows 98 and XP, I used to do it. That's how I used to I used my webcams. I still have the old webcams on desktop machines, and I would stream to them, and I would save the stream with, I would stream with VLC. I would save the stream. Now I would pick up the webcams with VLC, and then I would save the streams. You had to set it up like an IP stream, and I used to play around with doing IP streams on the local network and stuff too. And I used to watch them. There's always been IP streams. Some people just put them out on the internet, Not when I was on dial-up, but like on 98 I was on dial-up. But later on when we had cable internet, I think I was still on XP for a while until I got into Linux in 2005. Sorry. So anyway, I learned how to do it. And mostly the IP stream. That was really one reason it was the easiest one to remember how to do, but that's what this is that we're using it here, is the IP stream. The RTSP and the other ones, they're I don't know, I just have more trouble remembering how the syntax to set them up and to get it to work. But but it used to tell you when something went wrong. It would give you hints, and give you error messages. Well, it doesn't do that anymore. It's like a wizard, but if you get something wrong and it doesn't work, nothing happens. No error messages, just a black screen, on VLC. It doesn't even show you the stream that you're sending out. If you're sending out a stream, by default, you got to remember to turn it on that you see the stream, and there's a good reason for it because it uses so much resources that most machines won't be able to handle it, and the bandwidth too on your network. And it's kind of funny because I thought, okay, this thing does VLC streams, so like anything I want to see somewhere else, from another computer or whatever, or from this computer, I thought, well, I'll just set me up a VLC stream. And well, there's something I wanted to bring into OBS Studio, and I did. I set up a VLC stream, and it used not only too much horsepower on the computer, but it used too much bandwidth, more than the little IP webcam app does. It's more refined somehow. They've got something figured out. And with the IP webcam, it's a free app. I mean, they want you to pay to get more features, but it's very functional the way it is. I could do up to 1080p, but even with my it's my phones I finally figured out. The best they'll do is 72 megabits. They generally run 25 to 35 megabits over the Wi-Fi. And my other Wi-Fi, I used to have one that did about 1,000 to 1,200 megabits on the Wi-Fi. This one is supposed to do 1,500 to 1,700 megabits. That's over 1,000 megabits is a gigabit. And on the wired, it's a gigabit. But they do better over the wired than they do over the Wi-Fi, even so, generally. Because I've got two 5 megapixel surveillance cameras running all the time now, and they're over the Wi-Fi. I set them up over the wire. They do both, and I set them up through the wired, and then I turned on the Wi-Fi. But anyway, but that's put a hitch in my streaming my cameras though. It's a good thing I got that USB camera. That one there, this one here is going through USB. So, and now that I've got it, well, it was working fine on the Lenovo too. It's a quad core with 4 gig RAM. My server, it's 12 cores with 24 with this hyper threading, 64 gig of RAM, 8 gigabyte video card. I had a 256 megabyte video, and I was still able to stream on that computer. 256 megabyte. It's been years. What happened was I had advanced in the machines I had, and well, the best I had was, well, my first machine I built was a Pentium 4 with 512 megabyte video card. And I expected very soon, this was back in the early 2000s, to end up with a gigabyte video card, and all like that. Well, they didn't, well, actually they had like 728. They didn't even talk about gigabyte video cards at that time. But it did great. But then, as software bloat goes, it couldn't keep up well with the video and stuff on the and the operating. Well, once I got into Linux, and XP got to where well, it hasn't been that long since XP got kicked out, kicked down to the curb. But well, I got sick and tired of messing with viruses and all that crap with Windows. In 2005, once I discovered Linux and Fedora, it was called Blag Linux, a remix of Fedora Linux that I started out on. I had a buddy who was a programmer, and he told me about it, and he said, you might like that. He had told me about FreeBSD, and I tried to figure it out, and I wasn't figuring it out. Didn't really understand it. It wasn't, Linux is quite a bit different. It's simple once you understand that it just works different than Windows. The principles you need to know to get started with it, set it up, and stuff. And anyway, he told me, well, you might like Linux. And so I went and went and Googled all that, and I found that one of the first things I found was Blag Linux. And what it was Fedora 5, I believe. Yeah. And we're on Fedora 32 right now. They come out with a new one every year. And so Fedora 5, and it had every app you could ever and never would even dream of wanting or needing already built into it. And I loved it. And none of this virus problems and all that stuff. There are malware and viruses that can hurt Linux now. Back then, there was some back then, but it just wasn't a target. It wasn't that well known. And now it's a little more well known. But anyway, I've always usually always keep. I'll have one machine I have one virtual machine, Windows XP virtual machine for some apps that I want to use sometimes, and I just now got VirtualBox installed on this server, and I haven't even booted that thing up, imported it and booted it up yet. But it's on my old machine. I can run it on the Lenovo i5, but it's so slow you can barely use it. It just doesn't have enough power to run, Fedora and that. And but anyway, I went from the. Let's see, what did I? Yeah, I went from the Pentium 4. Well, I've had lots. My old neighbor, when he would get machines that he didn't want, he would end up getting them from his machines his work got rid of, or he would help people and work on, set up their emails and do things for them over the years. And then when they decide to get a new machine, they might give him the old one, and he might mess with them, or he'd just think he might keep them a year or two and then say, well, I'm never going to mess with this. You want it, and he'd give it to me. So I've got a bunch in the garage, and I always think I want to set them all up and get them all going on Linux, and then I never get to do it because I usually don't feel good enough. Most of the biggest reason. But anyway, yeah, there's another machine that is usually set right here on the desk, but well, he sent me a lady her when it was something hardware related that he didn't know how to do, especially, or really hard software problem, he would come to me and I would help him with it. That's how come he'd give me stuff, I'd help him. But we grew up, well, he's like 10 or 15 years younger than me. He was 3 when I moved here, when I was in the 4th grade. Well, it's not that far, is it? I don't know, however many years that is. But anyway, I didn't really get to know him till after I got married I moved away when I was 18, got married, and came back when in 1995. I left at 75, came back in 95, and so he still lived next door, but he was grown up by that time. And then we turned out we grew up, he ran sound at his church, and he was into computers, and I'm into computers, and I ran sound for Christian rock bands and stuff. And it turned out we didn't grow up hanging out. He was always over there, and I was over here. We didn't talk a whole lot because he was so much younger than me. He was out there making football noises in the yard, and I was getting in the car to take off and go somewhere. Last thing I really remembered before I left. He was bigger than that. I think he was junior high or something when I left. But anyway, he brought me a computer that was a 1.8 gigahertz dual core that had been hit by lightning. Through the phone lines, I think, because the modem was a modem bad? Anyway, what was wrong with it? Certain parts were bad and certain parts were okay. I think the modem was blown out, and I think that lady was on dial-up. But anyway, I looked at it, and I was supposed to get paid for this, and so I told him what it would take to fix it and get it working again, and she decided, well, she had insurance and she'd just get a brand new computer. And so I said, well, I'll tell you what, I'll take that. I think, I was going to charge like $60 or something for the work I had done diagnosing it and everything, and or maybe less than that. But anyway, I took the computer. I took half of the money that I would have got, or did I ever get any money? Maybe I just kept the computer, didn't charge her nothing. I don't remember now. Anyway, I kept it, and I put that all in another box. It was a Gateway. I didn't really like the box it was in. And I think the power supply might have been bad too or something. But anyway, I put it in another box, and I think I added another stick of RAM to it or something. And I guess it had enough video, or I bought a video card or something. Oh, I think the motherboard was bad. Yeah. Because the processor was good, the memory was good, maybe a couple other things that was in it, and I bought a BioStar motherboard and some memory, and built a computer off of what parts were good out of that. Never thought I would. It wasn't a hot rod machine, and my Pentium 4 was a hot rod machine until it got old. This was, like a weaning machine. It wasn't much at the time. And I didn't have any money for years and years, and I ended up using that for years until Jeff came. He got a hold of that Lenovo i5, and it was full of viruses, and it had that Windows 7 encryption, and it was encrypted, and they couldn't boot it up, and their support people didn't want to come there to fix it. If they could do it remotely, they'd do it. Otherwise, they didn't want to. The company he worked for. So they just bought another machine, and they were going to throw it in the trash. They were always doing that. And so if anything any good, he would keep it. Well, he brought me this one. I played around with trying to learning how to get into that encryption. And did I? I remember seeing it run. I must have got into it. But it was all full of viruses. I remember that. So anyway, I reformatted it. And at first I reformatted it with half Linux and half Windows 7. But it was a dual boot. And you think you'll do that, but I never want to reboot to get into the other operating system, whatever it is. I'm like that one that used to be a Gateway. I call it the red-black BioStar because the case I had it in was black with red lights on the front. I bought a kit from my mom and built her a dual-core AMD, and it was powerful. At this around that same time, got a real good deal. It was $250 for everything. From Tiger Direct, I used to buy stuff there. And that's where I would buy parts to fix people's computers. But anyway, around the same time when I built her that machine. Anyway, the box originally came with a big, it had a plexiglass window in the door, and it was cracked all the way from one end to the other. And Tiger Direct just said, "We'll keep that one. We'll send you another one." And so I built mine into that one with the crack case. And so anyway, I ended up over the years I had like three at least different Linux operating systems on it, but I never wanted to mess around with the other ones. I always just use my main one. Fedora 14 is what's on. It's still on it. It still runs great. It has at least four hard drives in it, and a lot of my old backups are in there. And it got to where it was really running bad, and I thought surely, Fedora 14 quit getting updates years ago. The only thing that was getting updated was Firefox, and that's when I finally had to go to another machine because Firefox quit updating itself. They would quit giving out updates for it, that old of Fedora 14. And so, but it was getting loud. It was getting louder and louder. I thought the fan was gone bad, the CPU fan. And a month or so ago, I don't remember. Let's see. I guess I pulled it out. When I pulled it out to get it out of the way to put in my shelf for my new monitor. It was in November. I bought at Black Friday. I bought this TV. That's my monitor now, 49-inch monitor. I took it out and I cleaned everything off the desk so that I could do that work. And then I was going to figure out what I was going to put where. Well, when I got it out, I don't know. It may have fell off then or something rattled, but it turned out there's 4 long screws holding the CPU. It's a plastic case with the fan on it, holding the screwing down, holding the CPU cooler down. There's springs on them, and that holds it against the CPU. Well, 2 of the, or maybe there's 4 in there, but 2 of them broke off, and it just, I guess there was already one. There might have already been one missing, and I was forgotten that I was limping along on 3. Anyway, the plastic just shattered, and so 2 of them broke off, and I ended up opening it up, and I pulled it out of there, and I was like, it's in the box behind me here by the closet, and I was so busy with everything else that I just put it in the garage with my other old computers until I could get to it, and I haven't got to it yet. But I actually still depend on that. There's apps on there that I can't. They don't make anymore for the newer versions of Linux that I still use sometimes, and it's got some of my backup files on there. I really kind of get nervous about it being in the garage. I'm afraid something will happen to it. But the way I did things here, I don't have room for it in that spot. But I put the shelf up high enough that it'll go under there just fine. I need to bring it back in as soon as I can. I just realized I'm going to have a break. I'm just jabbering anyway. I don't know how come I'm going over my computer history either. Okay, so I'm going to go. I always do that. That's what makes me quit. I finally can't go any longer. All right. I don't know how I do that lately. That's what I do every time I get tired. I'm tired. I was tired when I started. All right. Well, I'm going to go. I made my unboxing video and my Jabber session. That's one of my favorite albums. It's called by a band that I used to do sound for called. It's one of my. No, I think they did name their album that. It's a favorite song called Jabberwocky, and the band was called I guess they don't really play anymore. But this was back in the late '90s, late '90s. Called they're a hardcore Christian band. Called Nailed Promise. That was a good song. I never got tired of their songs, their music. I don't know how many times did I mix for them. I can't even count. It's way more than 10, 20, 30, 40, I don't know. Didn't mix for them every weekend. I mixed for different bands. I mixed at venues and we had different bands every weekend. But anyway, Jabberwocky. That's what I'm doing. I'm a Jabberwocky. All right. Bye. Where's the camera? All right.